Everybody, welcome back to another episode of FSide DFS Fantasy NASCAR Picks. I'm here, Smeguru 31. A quick video today. Cup race at Texas. Xfinity race was a mess. It was hot. The track was slick. There were a lot of accidents. A lot of cars broke down. Cups using a new tire, which they're all trying to get used to. The practice data was all skewed because of it, because some of them, I think, went in and changed tires just to see how they were wearing during it. And like with long run speed, there really wasn't comparable because like they didn't all run laps on like the same amount of tires wear. So I just didn't throw that in there. And qualifying got goofy too, because some people got a little bit loose trying to get used to this tire. They had faster cars in practice, so it's not a true indicator of their qualifying speed of like how they're going to do. There's 267 laps at this one. This used to be a 500. Now it's down to a 400, which is probably good because of less chaos. We're probably going to have 2 to 3 Dominators in this race. So Bubba got the pole. Looks really good here. I think he's a solid cash play. Buescher and Keselowski in a GPP. I think it's going to be hard to pass the leader initially, but Buescher and Keselowski have had fast cars. So I think that you definitely can consider them in contrarian builds. Ty Gibbs, I have as a GPP up here. He has done well at these tracks. He probably can hold a top 10, but it's kind of risky. He might fall backwards a little bit. Ross Chastain looks solid also with this. And even though he's out of the playoffs, I think there is definitely still in play here, and I think he could have a good day. So I think, if you want an early dominator also, that he could be in play. Allmendinger starting too far forward, it's going to be a fade. Kyle Busch just hasn't had the speed recently, so I just don't know what to take of him. And he hasn't found as much trouble as he had last year, but he just hasn't been very fast to be competitive. So not super interested in him. Suarez starting too far forward, it's going to be a fade. Bell, he's continues to do well, but his pit crew and mistakes just continue to not have him finish great. So I think, could he get up there? Could he win this race? Yes. Could he be a surprise and dominate and have a great day? Absolutely. But it's going to be a GPP because I just don't think he has the floor. Hamlin and Larson are definitely prime plays here. They had the best cars in practice. They just kind of Hamlin made it into the second group of qualifying, but then had a little bit of an issue and just kind of mailed it in. Larson was almost in the top 10 there. So I think both of them are prime plays. Both of them have super strong cars, have run well in this package on these types of tracks. So I think the two of them are probably going to be contending at the top for the win. Hopefully they don't take each other out, because they're both going to be my prime plays. Eric Jones, GPP, starting a little bit too far forward. Austin Dillon, same thing. Same thing as Busch. The team has doesn't have the speed consistently. Alex Bowman is out of the playoffs, but I think he's got a lot of cash upside here. I like the price point, and he looked very solid. I think that he can hold his position and advance it, where some of these other ones might go back that are ahead of him. So I think I could play him in cash. Tyler Reddick, I just worry about like him running high and stuff and being a hot slick track and getting loose and getting into the wall. So he's going to be GPP. I just can't. I like the place differential, but at 10-2, I need some floor there for cash. Truex, the same thing. He just didn't look really fast in practice. So he qualified in the middle of the pack. I just don't know if he's got what it takes to move up here. Although he's usually good on hot slick tracks, so I think that bodes well for him. So probably consider him definitely in my GPP builds. McDowell is just kind of in the middle here, not in the playoffs anymore. 6,300 GPP. Definitely a cash fill in if you land on him. I'm fine with that. Byron is a cash play, definitely here. Love the place differential. It's going to be hard to kind of play him with like Hamlin and Larson, but if you want to pivot off one of them and pick one of them, thinking that like one of them succeeds and one of them doesn't, or if you build like 3 cash lineups and go Hamlin, Byron in one of them, Hamlin, Larson in one of them, and Larson, Byron in the third one, then I think that's a definitely way to go also, like especially in a 3-entry mix. Carson Hocevar has just looked really good here in this car in the Cup Series. Definitely looks like he belongs up there. So I think he's definitely a solid cash play at his price point. Logano is out of the playoffs now. He struggled all year, but this could be he actually did look decent out here in this race. I believe Blaney was able to test this tire out here. So I think maybe for the team, he's got some good notes. And they always do some things, and he just go out there, no pressure on the playoffs, and just try to win it. So I think he's definitely somebody that I would consider in my GPP lines. I just, with his form all year long, I just can't do it in cash. Amarola and Harvick are GPPs here. Like, they just looked slow, like cars that are going to stay in the 20s and don't have much upside. So Harvick, I think he'd love to have a win before this all over, but I don't know if this is the track where it's going to happen, or if it is going to happen, which actually I'm hoping. Just, not being a Harvick fan, but just being a fan of NASCAR. And I always like to see, the guys get one last victory. So we'll see if that happens. Blaney I think is a cash play here. Like I said, I believe he came out here and tested his tire. He looked good in practice, didn't qualify as well, but again, some of them kind of screwed that up, and it was only one lap, but the practice data looked good. So I think he's definitely has some upside at 9,400, and I think you can make a good lineup pairing him in with the prime ones. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., I think, is good on these tracks too. And even though he's out of the playoffs, I think he's had solid enough numbers on these types of tracks during the season to be considered. Priest is a GPP here. Again, a good fill-in piece, and not like super excited to play him. Nothing negative. Dylan, I think, is more of a fade in the Spire car. LaJoy, I think, is definitely a really good play here. I have Haley as the prime play because I liked him in practice better. And even though he's leaving the team, I think he's still been super competitive out there. LaJoy, again, I think these both here are very similar and good like fill-ins for cash lineups. Chase Elliott, if you want to not play like Blaney or Byron, I think he's going to be very popular with the place differential. I definitely, even though he's out of the playoffs and stuff and has struggled this year, he has been pretty consistent on these types of tracks. So I think he can definitely move up. He's not a 29th place car. I think he could definitely get 10 to 15 place differential points. So I definitely like him in cash if I can get him in my lineup. Burton's always a fade for me. Briscoe and Cindric just haven't looked good. There is some place differential upside here, but I just don't know if they have the speed to have as much place differential upside as Elliott, but they're appropriately priced for that. So I'm fine. Again, probably like Logano the best in the GPP range, starting like 20th or down. But these guys definitely have some place differential. Zane Smith, I don't know what to do with him. He is in the 38. So Gillian got booted to Rick Ware car, but I thought I saw something that he's moving to Chevy next year and not in Ford. So then I think when he's been in this Ford, there's been some like backing from Stuart Haas or some other, just to try to make sure it's a sound car and that he can be competitive when he comes up here, just to try to groom him to eventually be a cup driver. But I don't know how that plays out. I'm sure that this was prearranged before he decided to, his agent or whoever, to move to Chevy. If I were them, I would have kept Gillian and I would have put him in the 51, but I don't know if they sign contracts or whatever for this. So I'm not sure how it works on the back end, but Zane Smith, you normally would like in this car, but I'm just a little bit apprehensive here. So GPP, McLeod and Yaley not interested in, and Gillian has had some solid finishes no matter what car he's been in. I don't know if I trust a Rick Ware car, but at least you start out with 4 points and can't lose anything if he finishes dead last as the car breaks down. But if there's a lot of other attrition, this might be a really good play and potentially a cash play to help move up. And, there's definitely a decent range there of, get your studs in there with Hamlin and Larson. And then if you mix in players like LaJoy, Haley, and Gillian, if you trust him in cash, then that might make a decent lineup for you. So I know most people are watching football now, and NASCAR has kind of gone by the wayside, but thank you for still watching and continue on. If you have any questions, you can always put them in the chat below. Hit me up at MegaRow31 on Twitter/X. If you want more information on FSide DFS to see all the things that are coming up, McKinley's going to do preseason at NHL, so that should be on the website to sign up for soon. Major League Baseball wrapping that up. We have NASCAR, we have football, we've got soccer is going strong too. So lots of cool things. So appreciate you watching. Watch this far. You've already helped us. You want to help a little bit more, like the video, subscribe to our channel so you know all our videos coming out, and share with your friends. So thank you. Hope you have a great weekend. Stay dry on the East Coast, and I will see you next time.